Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Coco Gauff's bizarre training drill turns heads amid Cincinnati Open spotlight. It's all about preparation in tennis. Every player brings their own style of practice to get that edge on the court and taste victory. But sometimes, those pre-match rituals can be unique. Rafael Nadal's warm-up had been the talk of the town for years, and Jannik Sinner's pre-match football games with his team in the corridors at the Italian Open this year had fans smiling. But Coco Gauff's pre-match practice sessions might just take the cake. On Saturday, the Cincinnati Open Instagram page shared a behind-the-scenes look at Coco and her team working on the practice courts. Captioned, "Interesting training techniques at Coco Gauff face with hand over mouth." The video showed a compilation of Gauff and her team playing quirky games with tennis balls. The text on the clip read, "Coco Gauff team bonding," with one shot showing Coco crouched and speed-walking across the court while her team launched tennis balls at her. In another, they were lined up at the net rolling balls, possibly seeing who could get the closest without going past the baseline. The agenda? Unclear. But maybe only Gauff can answer that one. See for yourself. Coco Gauff shook things up last year, revamping her coaching team after a turbulent run. Since then, it hasn't been all smooth sailing, but she looked happier on court. At the time, she said she was really excited about her first tournament with the new crew. She split ways with Brad Gilbert, and in came Matt Daly as a fresh voice alongside her longtime coach Jean-Christophe, J.C. Forel. "I think this is probably what it will look like next year too. I'm super excited for a new change and hopefully to improve other parts of my game," she told WDA Insider in Beijing. The results came fast. After a winless stretch for much of last season, Coco Gauff caught fire in September, winning the China Open and then backing it up with the WTA Finals title. This year, she went bigger still. No singles trophy for months until she stormed Roland Garros to claim the French Open crown. That's how you turn things around in style. Now, the world number 2 is ready to bring the heat to Cincinnati. She arrives after a Canadian Open that was a mixed bag. An R16 loss to rising star Victoria Mboko in singles, but a doubles title with partner McCartney Kessler. Still, despite the trophy, her team left Montreal with fresh concerns about her game. The stat that jumped off the page: 42 double faults across the tournament. A staggering 23 of those came in her R64 match against Danielle Collins. That number had a former pro speaking out and sharing thoughts on the Americans' coaching team. Coco Gauff's coaching team faced with hard questions. On August 5th, the Rennie Stubbs Tennis Podcast kicked off with some well-earned hype for Gauff's rapid rise. But it wasn't all praise. Stubbs was straight to the point. "But my God, like her serve, I don't understand why now she has literally 2 coaches. Nothing has changed on her serve, like the ball toss is so far ahead of her on the second serve." Gauff, led by Matt Daly and Jean-Christophe Forel, had just bowed out of the Canadian Open to 18-year-old Victoria Mboko, and Stubbs didn't shy away from spotlighting Gauff's biggest weakness. A few days earlier, Stubbs took to Twitter with some blunt advice for Gauff's serve. She pointed out that the 21-year-old tends to lean into the court, which causes her to fall forward and hit down on the ball instead of up. According to Stubbs, the motion needs to stay upward, striking the ball from the underside to get the desired kick. Using her own clock analogy, she explained that Gauff currently makes contact at about 1 o'clock and should instead be connecting at 7 o'clock for maximum effect. Stubbs, the 54-year-old former pro with 4 Grand Slam doubles titles, sees the fix clear as day. Gauff's grip? Still off. The message: a stronger kick serve and small tweaks could turn the tide for Coco's game. Gauff didn't shy away from the topic when it came up in her August 1st press conference. She admitted she's disappointed in herself for not addressing that part of her game, especially after skipping DC to work on it. While her serve has looked strong in practice, she's frustrated it hasn't translated into matches. Still, she sees a silver lining. She's been winning even with what she calls a major crutch in her game. Fixing it, she believes, would make future matches more straightforward and much easier. For now, she's recharging on the practice courts and getting ready for her next challenge. Her opener against Wong Sinew drops tomorrow. Did Montreal give her just what she needs for one more deep run before New York? Sound off in the comments. The blistering afternoon sun bore down on the Lindner Family Tennis Center in Mason, Ohio, as crowds trickled in, hoping to catch glimpses of their favorite tennis stars prepping for the Cincinnati Open. Most fans flocked to the big names, Djokovic, Swiatek, Tsitsipas, but a growing crowd was slowly migrating to practice court 4, where a strange buzz was building. "She's doing what with a frying pan?" someone muttered, peering through the chain-link fence. Indeed, Coco Gauff, the American phenom and reigning U.S. Open champion, was in the middle of what could only be described as a performance art piece disguised as a tennis drill. Clad in her signature New Balance gear, Coco stood across the net from her hitting partner, but instead of a racket, she held a black cast-iron skillet. In the stands, jaws dropped as she returned serve after serve with casual precision, the ball ricocheting off the skillet's curved surface like it was strung with Babolat gut. "She's lost it," a skeptical fan said. "No," another replied. "She's innovating." The method behind the madness. The drill, bizarre as it looked, wasn't just a stunt. Gauff's coach, the meticulous and ever-innovative Diego Ramirez, formerly a ballet choreographer and part-time neuroscientist, stood courtside, stopwatch in one hand and a Bluetooth speaker blasting a Bach cello suite in the other. "Focus on the tempo, Coco," he called out between strokes. "You're playing music with your body. Don't fight the rhythm, be the rhythm." To an outsider, it all looked absurd. But for Coco, it was just another Monday. After a recent string of sluggish starts and matches, Gauff and her team had been exploring unconventional training methods to spark more fluidity, spontaneity, and focus on court. The skillet drill, they claimed, trained the mind to adjust to unpredictable surfaces while improving hand-eye coordination and balance. "It's like hitting with a racket that wants to sabotage you," Coco explained in an impromptu press gaggle after the session. "But if I can find timing and touch with this thing, a regular racket feels like a magic wand." Reporters laughed, unsure if she was joking. She wasn't. Tennis meets theater. At one point in the session, Coco switched to rallying with 2 foam noodles, one in each hand. The noodles wobbled with each swing, and she'd intentionally spin in a circle before returning a lob, laughing as she adjusted her feet midair to make the shot. A child in the stands gasped, "Mom, she's like a superhero." Indeed, Coco's drills look more like scenes from a Cirque du Soleil audition than a Grand Slam prep. But beneath the playful surface lay a strategic mind at work, recalibrating, rewiring, sharpening every edge. Her coach, Diego, offered some insight. "You don't grow by staying comfortable," he said. "Coco's tennis is beautiful, but we want it to be unpredictably beautiful. That's why we use frying pans, noodles, even blindfolds." "Blindfolds?" a reporter asked. "Tomorrow's drill." Diego grinned. Reaction from the tennis world. Word of Coco's training session spread fast. By the next morning, clips had gone viral on TikTok and Twitter, with hashtags like #FryingPanForehand and #CocoGauffChallenge trending worldwide. Nick Kyrgios tweeted, "I knew I wasn't crazy using a frying pan in 2019. Coco just made it cool. Respect." Martina Navratilova weighed in during a Tennis Channel segment. "Honestly, I love it. Anything that builds feel and creativity is a plus. And let's be honest, tennis needs more flavor." Still, not everyone was sold. "Sure, it's fun," said a skeptical Daniil Medvedev during his press conference. "But will it help you in tight tie-breaks? I'll stick to my racket." When asked for a response, Gauff simply smiled. "That's okay. I'm not training to be Daniil. I'm training to be me." The drill that changed everything. By midweek, the experiment took a deeper turn. Wednesday's practice saw Coco enter the court blindfolded, led by Diego like a modern-day Jedi apprentice. With only verbal cues, she navigated a drill focused on footwork, balance, and sound recognition, listening for the bounce of the ball, timing her movement without sight. "It was terrifying at first," she later said. "But once I relaxed, I realized how much I rely on just seeing. When you remove that, your other senses take over. It's wild." That day, her serves hit 120 miles per hour with consistent placement. Her drop shots fell just over the net, featherlight. Something had clicked. Game day, the real test. By the time match day arrived, Coco had become the story of the tournament. Even before striking a single competitive ball, ESPN cameras panned to her during warm-ups like she was an A-list celebrity, and the crowd buzzed with anticipation. Her opponent, seasoned Czech veteran Petra Kvitova, admitted before the match, "I don't know what to expect from her anymore. She might pull a racket out of a cereal box." In the opening set, Gauff looked different. Not just better, unreadable. She disguised her drop shots perfectly, shifted pace at will, and returned Kvitova's blistering lefty serve with a calmness that belied her age. She won the match 6-3, 6-2. In the post-match interview, she was asked if the frying pan helped. "I mean, yeah," she laughed. "But mostly, it taught me how to play again. Not just compete, play. That's when I'm at my best." A movement begins. Inspired by Coco's unorthodox drills, tennis clubs around the world began posting their own interpretations. Kids rallied with spatulas, local pros practiced drop shots while hula hooping, and one viral clip showed an 80-year-old man in Naples hitting slice backhands with a broomstick, quoting Gauff's line, "I'm not training to be Daniil. I'm training to be me." Back in Cincinnati, Gauff continued her run deep into the tournament, eventually reaching the finals. Whether or not she lifted the trophy, she had already won in the eyes of many, reminding the world that excellence doesn't have to be rigid, predictable, or cold. It can be joyful, even bizarre, especially bizarre. Epilogue, the legend of the skillet. Weeks later, the frying pan, now autographed, was mounted in the National Tennis Hall of Fame's Innovation Wing under a plaque that read, "The moment tradition met creativity and lost in straight sets." Coco Gauff stood beside it during the unveiling, eyes twinkling. "I guess I'll never look at breakfast the same again."